How the heck are you guys? I'm Fastidious. We are getting some interesting banners this weekend in Watcher of Realms. They could be really strong for certain players, but that's not what this video is about. Oh, no, 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 no. You saw the thumbnail. I am pretty sure you might want to save your summons in spite of your desire for maybe a Ryzen, maybe an Eris, maybe a Comet, a little less so Comet in 2026. But Ryzen, that is a juicy prize. Eris is a phenomenally strong consolation prize, but with what we think is coming. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bit less think and a little bit more no. I think I know that this is coming. I think you just cannot waste any summons right now because it's looking extra spicy, primo caliente in Watcher of Realms. So what am I talking about? Maybe you've already heard me mention it across many videos and on many streams. I have long hypothesized that we already know the Valentine's Day limited heroes. Now, what have I based this upon? Well, let me show you. All right, guys, I just got to say this video was a ton of fun to make. So if you appreciate it, if you want more content like this, if you want to stay up to date on everything, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Well, to kick off the year, we had a digital interview with the developers, and part one was the presentation of this roadmap behind me. And you can see it was long. There was a lot of juicy stuff in here. If we look through all the slides, we had like 24 slides. Definitely go check out that video. You'll see the thumbnail right here. A lot of you already have checked it out, so thank you for that. But my God, they are cooking up some really cool stuff. But if we go over here and we focus in on slide 13, you'll see these two characters right here, the painter and the paintress. And these guys are very, very, very intriguing. Not just because she's got paint on her titties, though that is nice, but because obviously, to me at least, and I've been saying this for weeks, they clearly are a bond, right? This must be a partner bond situation between these two heroes. It's the same style paint. They're calling one the painter currently, though the name has changed. You'll find out about that very soon in a couple days. And they're calling the other the paintress. Clearly, they are a pair, they are a couple, they are pretty characters, there's a lovey-dovey energy. I do believe this is our Valentine's Day couple. There is another huge piece of evidence, and that is every time we've gotten new limiteds the past many rounds of limiteds dating back to Diao-Chan and Lubu, they have both come with special fancy limited skins. And I'm really, really sure that I know that these guys are getting skins and I know which ones they are. I want to give a big shout out to Adele, a longtime player of Watch of Realms who was on one of my streams. And he said, look at the slide deck from your video. And yeah, these are definitely their skins, right? The paint is wiped away and everything, but they're going for a loving Greek god and goddess couple. I'm almost certain these are their skins. Let's actually compare them side by side, and then I'll blow up big version of these skins. You can see this is the paintress, very kind of similar posture, long staff thing she's holding. If we go to these skins over here, very, very similar. And here's the painter, kind of leaning back, kind of looking cool. No hat this time. He's looking like Apollo. We'll talk about that in a second. But I think this is pretty freaking likely. So thank you, Adele, for bringing that to my attention. These are the skins. I'll pop open big versions right now. But these are clearly themed skins. They're both based off of some kind of Greek mythos. I'm pretty sure, now let's cut away for a second from these pictures. Let me show you over here. I'm pretty sure this skin for the paintress over here is based off of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, among other things. You can see there are a lot of similarities. We've got the draping on one shoulder, same kind of regalia and a lot of these things. I mean, if you just scroll around and look, and kind of flowing hair, it just really seems to match. But I think this is a pretty natural fit. This picture in particular and this picture, I know they're all like random. This one says fandom, but you know what I'm saying. This is the Aphrodite vibe, and I think she fits it. I think this is, at the very least, it's clearly Greek inspired, right? This is like a draping toga, very elegant, lots of whites and golds, which I feel is very Greek, even a little red accent. And here we've got matching whites and golds. We've got matching red accent. It just all goes together very, very cleanly. Now, I think this is based off of Apollo, so not directly love or anything in Valentine's Day, but if we look at Apollo over here, he's the god of, among other things, music and poetry. Here they call it god of the mouse-like, which is covering everything from music to songs to dance and poetry. Feels very loving. And then above him, we've got Cupid, right? If we look at that image of the skin, pop that open here, we've got two little cupids, which I think are Eros, the god of love, right? I've been doing some research on this, so it looks a little different here, but I think very commonly the baby version of Eros is considered Cupid. Undeniably, very, very lovey-dovey, very Valentine's Day with these cute little angels above him holding their bells. Very musical. Again, feels Apollo. This feels Aphrodite. Because we've gotten fresh skins upon release with the past two limited couples, I think that points to the fact that this is our third limited couple in a row following the same theme. Now, the reason I think it's a limited is, one, the past 2 Valentine's Days, we've gotten couples, so it's a thing. It's only been 2 Valentine's Days, but we are 2 for 2. It was Lust and Arrogance in 2024, and it was Diao-chan and Lubu in 2025. So here's another couple. But on top of that, let's focus in now on Diao-chan and Lubu, not Lust and Arrogance, because Diao-chan and Lubu actually marked the start of a very significant theme in Watcher of Realms, and that is new limited characters having a bond skill and being paired with new limited ancient exclusive heroes. Now, do I think this is the case this time around? Yes, or very, very close to yes, just flipped around. We'll circle back to that in a second, but if you can humor me for a moment, if you can give me a second of your time, let me take you through memory lane. So February 2025, Diao-chan, she has a partner skill with the new ancient exclusive, chaotic, and northerner unit Lubu. Next up, the newest limited was going to be Morden, when we got the introduction of the tacticians. Morden obviously is phenomenal, an excellent tactician. Where is Morden? There you go. Dual faction and Nightmare and Esotericist, and wouldn't you know, he has a bond skill with Valara, another ancient exclusive who came out at the exact same time. The phenomenal Valara, arguably the strongest hero in the game, depends who you ask. I would probably rank her third. Some people would think that's a hot take, but she has a bond skill with Morden. She is Arbiter in ancient exclusive faction and Esotericist. That's very important. A matching faction, right? That Esotericist faction matches Lubu. Is that the start of a new theme? I do think so. Does that inform my theory that we already know the next limited heroes? I do think so, because look at that. Ancient exclusive faction, other faction, cultists. That's a matching faction. We had one more limited since Diao-chan and Morden and their partners Lubu and Valara respectively, and that was with the Dracula's Castle collab, and the limited was Lady Mina. And this is where I feel like things are really coming into view. Lady Mina had one faction, Northerner, and then another faction, very significant, Piercer, which she shares with her bond partner, Dracula. She actually has 2 bond partners, to be fair. One of them we got for free. I don't think that's happening this time unless there's some special event I don't know about. Is it possible? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But her main bond is with Count Dracula, or at least that's her main counterpart, right? You can see him right here in the mirror. Then the OG version of Count Dracula, the original Dracula, Vlad Draculia, that's her other bond skill. But if we focus in on these two, we've got Lady Mina. She's in 2 factions, Northerner and Piercer. She has a bond skill with Count Dracula. And then if we go to Count Dracula, wouldn't you know it, lo and behold, ancient exclusive, one ancient exclusive faction, chaotic, just like how Valara had Supreme Arbiters, and then another faction that he shares with his bond partner. And we can click over here. Boom, Lady Mina. They are both Piercer. He has an ancient exclusive bonus faction in Chaotic, and she has a normal faction that's a bonus in Northerner. So this couple's really similar, just how we had Valara and Morden sharing Esotericists, and then Morden had another normal faction, Nightmare, and Valara had another ancient exclusive faction, Arbiter. So let's get into it now. Let's pull this back open. They share Cultists. She's got her unique normal faction in Esotericist, and then we've got the Painter over here. He's got Chaos. So this to me just seems obvious and clear as day. I do have another piece of information that I can share, though I cannot give any extra detail. As a content creator on the test server, we got the directive that these guys are coming soon, right? I do not know when, I do not have dates, but it was communicated that these guys are going to come soon. They're on the test server, and I've tested them out. But you can trust me, they are good, and they officially exist. So I just feel like every single box has been checked, and it is extremely likely this is our Valentine's Day couple. Now, what is the wrinkle? What was I talking about? We could flip it around the other way. Well, I do think there's a chance Pierre could be the limited. Now, why do I say that? Well, it is heavily rumored, and this is not a leak because it's freaking everywhere, that the Paintress is coming on a banner with another normal unit. That is as much as I can say because, frankly, I don't know more than that. If that's true and she's paired with another normal hero, it means one of two things if my hypothesis is correct, and I do believe my hypothesis is correct. Number one, she's a limited, but she has someone else on her banner. We have seen it before. If you think of Lust and Arrogance, those were two normal units on what was then a 15x rate at banner for the limited Lust, and then you also had chances to get Arrogance, right? So it's happened before. However, Lust and Arrogance had a bond skill, and I would be shocked if the Paintress and another normal unit that isn't the Painter are getting a bond skill. Clearly, these two are going to have the bond skill. They got the same paint. I mean, it's clear as day. He painted on her titty. I'm sure that's what happened. What could be more of a bond than that? You've got holy matrimony rings for marriage, and you've got watercolors on the areolas, right? Those are the two ways, a different kind of ring, if you will. All right, this is getting far too graphic. This is definitely going to be a bond. So it is possible she's a limited and she just has someone else on her banner that's not her partner. Or he's the limited, like we had with Dracula, and he's going to be guaranteed an 80, 90, 100 summons. Dracula was 90. Separate event. Pull 90 Ancients. That's how we got Dracula, and he's guaranteed. Maybe they're both limited. I don't know. We had that with Dracula and Mina, though Mina was by herself, and it's possible she's going to be with someone else. Or it's all baloney, and she's not going to be with someone else. But I feel really, really confident that this is our Valentine's Day couple, and we have our next limited pair in Watcher of Realms, one way or another. And I gotta say, with this dual faction cultist membership, it seems like they're gonna keep pushing AoE even harder. I think these guys are coming very soon, at least in the next month or two. I'm saying in the next week or two for Valentine's Day. There are big things happening in Watcher of Realms, and I think we should be very, very excited. So should you summon this coming weekend, we'll get to that tomorrow. You know, Ryzen is definitely good enough that we have to discuss this banner. But if I'm even close to right, if I've been right about even 30% of these things, and I think I'm going to end up being right about 70, 80, 90% of these things, but even if it's only 30 or 20, whatever, I think it's enough to say most people should probably skip this banner. Look forward to the breakdown tomorrow because I just love Ryzen and I want to talk about him. I think he's so underrated, it's crazy. But I also think for Valentine's Day, we're getting 2 painters. So there you go, guys. Keep that paint off your sweet chest. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. Please subscribe to the channel, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.